Oh my gosh, Somalia just Somalia just rejected its own law. Reversed it. You can now marry a child and no more freedom of religion.
Look at her. This girl is not happy. She doesn't want this old man. They don't want this. It's in the eyes. Look at their eyes. Here's another one. Look how old he is and look at her. But you don't want to talk about the horror of what they go through and that they're quiet about and silent about because they have to. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, baby. Look, you know I talk about a lot of things going on here in America, but I also like to talk about some things going on in different parts of the world because I feel, I'm educating you and you can find out some things that you should know that's going on. So let's jump right on in, okay? So basically, just a few hours ago, word on the street is that Somalia, which is in East Africa, their government, their parliament, their government decided to ban child marriage. And a lot of people, well, some people are happy, of course, civilized people are happy to hear about this. Well, guess what? In less than 24 hours, okay, as I'm literally making this video, I found out that they actually decided to go back to marrying little girls, having it, well, you can marry little girls in Somalia. Grown men can marry little girls and hurt them in their private areas. Yes, that's what it is, okay? They can sleep with them, marry them, and sleep with them. Children, this is a pedophile's dream, countries that allow this, okay? This man right here that you see on the screen, he's 73 years old and he's a Somalian man. Someone said he's a sheik or something like that in Somalia, okay? And he was crying over their law change that you cannot marry and sleep with babies, okay? So look, people are gonna say, you can say whatever you want to say, okay? Because the main religion in Somalia and most of East Africa is Islam. And we all know that, they follow Muhammad. And yes, there are good things about love and peace and all of that, just like with Christianity. But, he married Aisha, who was 9 years old. I don't know when they consummated the marriage. Some people said she wasn't 9 and people got it wrong. But there are people who believe she was and felt like, well, if Muhammad can do it and he's our leader and Allah and stuff, then we can do it too because we're following. I don't think he told them to go and marry 9-year-old children, but this is something that goes on. Okay, it also happens in America, our country. Marrying children was allowed at one point, but the laws change. Unfortunately, there are parts of the world that still get down like this, okay? Africa, the Middle East, parts of Asia, parts of Latin America, countries that aren't even all Muslim. But this is a disgusting thing. No one in the civilized modern world would think it's okay for grown men to marry and basically grape children, okay? People will hide it in the name of religion, but how about people actually ask the little girls, do you want to get married to a man, without pressure from their families and the community who have brainwashed them to believe that this is okay? Okay, you have a lot of women in these countries in Africa and other parts of the world, but we're going to focus on Africa, that are severely brainwashed because the men are the ones who push certain things and the women were born into it for centuries and they think it's okay and normal. Okay, it is not normal to sleep with babies. Little girls are not thinking about having sex with a full-grown man. It is painful and it doesn't look right. Anybody who believes in child marriage, you are disgusting, okay? Imagine walking in a room and seeing a full-grown man on top of a little child. Can you imagine walking in a room and seeing something like that? None of you would recover, most of you that are normal people, to walk in a room and see a full-grown man on top of a child doing you know what. Okay? I don't know about you, but I would go into fight mode and panic mode seeing something like that. Okay? So look, I'm going to play the video, but because he's speaking in another language, I'm going to read to you what he's saying when he found out that his country decided to finally ban child marriage. And I'm going to read to you his response to it. And this is so good for you to see, especially Black American people who are on this Pan-African stuff, always talking about Somalian and all that other stuff, Somalia and Ethiopia and stuff, and the beauty in that. But yet you don't want to talk about how it's full of men basically having sex with children, which is disgusting. So let's see what he is saying. And just because they're married to them doesn't make it different. It's still disgusting. Okay, so let's see what he's saying. Okay, he says, yesterday was a dark day for Somalia.
Soomaaliya waxay u ahayd maalin mugdiya, maalin madow ah. Shalay baarlamaanka.
Yesterday, what the parliament had brought forth is not something we will accept. We will not accept you telling us that we cannot marry and sleep with these little girls, these 9-year-olds and stuff. Absolutely not.
Wuxuu u soo saaray ama uu go'aan ku gaaray wax la aqbali kara ma aha. Annaga Muslim baan nahay boqolkiiba.
We Somalians are 100% Muslim. Now, you know, the Hebrew Israelites were also on the street corner saying that when a little Black girl Israelite gets her period, no matter how little she is, then we can have her. Disgusting. Somalis, please fear Allah by telling us we cannot marry children. Please fear Allah. We need to look into this matter urgently. This is urgent that they're telling us we cannot marry and sleep with children. Where are the Somali Islamic scholars? The scholars are the something of the prophets, inheritors of the prophets. We listen and take guidance from you. What's happening? Why are they silent? Probably because they finally got some damn sense. Where is the Sheikh Salumi or something? Is he not alive? This is what happens from severe brainwashing for hundreds and centuries of years. This is what happens right here. Please, where are the sheikhs? Are we not fearful of Allah? Allah commanded us to sleep and marry these damn babies. This is what he's saying? We need to go back to Allah. Where is the Sheikh Mursad or something? We need to fear Allah. We need to fear Allah. You're going to get in trouble by God because you decided to stop sleeping with children. We cannot easily accept this matter. Who is we? Is it the women or is it the men? These people will ruin us, telling us we cannot marry these children. We cannot accept this. Oh, I'm sure you feel that way as a man that runs something and the women don't have a voice and can't stop a damn thing on average. 18 years old, being the age of consent, is Kafar mindset. I can assume he's saying this is not normal. It's not normal for her to be 18 years old to decide if she wants to get married and let you literally get on top of her. That's the age where that's the age when their children mature. We must not follow them. The Prophet commands us to fight the non-Muslims. The Prophet commands us to fight the non-Muslims. Hold on, excuse me. Now look. I don't have a personal beef with Muslims. My dad was Muslim. I was not Muslim. My dad was not Muslim like them. My dad did not believe in child marriage. The whole Nation of Islam type of Muslim, not hardcore like this type of thing. And I am not, but I have. Y'all know, look, I've liked some Muslim men. I have. But this is the real deal type of thing in some of these countries, okay? I don't get down with child marriage. I don't believe in that. And there are some Muslim countries that don't practice child marriage. There are some Muslim countries that are more liberal, but there are also a number that are not and still operate like this. Now, this is Africa. And what a lot of people don't know is that a large percent of Muslims are, in fact, African. They're not all in the Middle East. A very large percent are in Africa, not just East Africa, but different parts of Africa as well. Also, many Muslims say, oh, this is a religion of peace. He's saying on here, the prophet commands us to fight the non-Muslims. Now, fighting doesn't always have to be physical violence, even though I have heard some say that, but going against the non-Muslims. He thinks that letting someone be a girl turn 18, which is the legal age of consent in America, and in some other countries, he feels like, well, that's their way. This is not our way. This is not right. Okay, being 18, we should be able to marry a 9, 10, 11, 12, 14-year-old and be able to sleep with them. Okay, this is what he believes in. And I don't know everything about Islam, but I know a few things. And I don't believe that Muhammad commanded men to marry children just because he allegedly married one himself. Had a vision and stuff. I don't know if when it was consummated, I don't know all of those details. But what I do know is that this man feels like this is not our way. The prophet says that we're supposed to be against their way type of thing. Look, we're going to get into it. We are getting into it, baby. I have some things to show you. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And some people are going to get triggered. But I'm just simply showing you what goes down in their country over in Somalia. We're talking about Somalia, okay? So that's him throwing a small little fit, crying, concerned, upset that the men... Because, I'm pretty sure in Somalia, those women don't have any power. Those men aren't asking those women, do you really want to get married to me at 14 and your husband is 70? Is this what you really want? People don't understand. These women live in fear, a number of them. These men beat these women, I'm sure. They can't say anything. They don't run the country. So they have to go along to get along. And then when you're brainwashed with the religion saying, well, this is the way, this is right, you're going to go to hell and perish. That's what they even do in Christianity. If you don't follow and believe what we say, oh my God, you're in danger type of thing. What kind of man? See, these type of places that believe in this stuff, these people are not developed. They're not developed. Developed brains can use logic and common sense, and they would think, I don't think this child is daydreaming about me coming home to her and sleeping with her. I don't think this child with this small pelvis and tiny body is craving to be ripped apart with me on top of her, hurting her. I don't think that this is right. She doesn't even have the body of a woman. I would think logic would come in, but a lot of men, especially, like I said, you have an increase of men converting. Some of them might be converting and going to countries where this is allowed because they're pedophiles. And it's a pedophile's dream to be able to freely be able to have sex with children type of thing. So people can say whatever. This is what it is. And I do understand that people have been brainwashed for centuries with certain beliefs when it comes to religion, thinking things are normal and natural when they are not. When they're not. And I guarantee you, again, if you were to actually ask some of these little girls and women in private how they felt, they would tell you the truth if they weren't in fear for their life or constantly being told they're gonna perish. So let's see what has happened in less than 24 hours, okay? He up here crying about it. They decided to backpedal and change the law back to where you can marry and sleep with little girls.
Oh my gosh, Somalia just Somalia just rejected its own law. Reversed it. You can now marry a child and no more freedom of religion. Reason? Wild. Sheesh. Article 21, no marriage under 18. Rejected. They said Islam defines adulthood by maturity, not age. So if a girl hits puberty, marriage permissible, not at 18.
Last time I checked, just because you get your period at 9 years old doesn't mean you have the working brain and maturity of a woman. It just means that you're bleeding now and that you can get pregnant. It doesn't mean you know how to live as an adult. You're not a woman at 9 years old. You are a child who was just 8 years old last year, not a woman. Disgusting. Y'all always talking about Mama Africa. I ain't go. Okay, let's go. Come on now.
Sheesh. So the primary reason to reject this, religion. That surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go to the next article. Article number 9. Freedom of religion for children. Rejected. They said every Somali child is born Muslim. So choosing another faith, it's not freedom, it's betrayal. Somalia, in all seriousness, I don't know if this looks good. All right? The whole world was seeing you move forward, and then you step back and said, no freedom of religion and no age marriage limit. Reason? Religion. Yeah, I haven't comprehended this just yet. What's your thought on this?
Now, he is Somalian. He is Somalian and he's standing up against it. But unfortunately, what can he do? He's one person. So I don't believe in indoctrination. I mean, look, I believe that a person should be able to choose what they believe in. So they're saying that, oh, no, you can't choose anything. If you were born over here and we're your parents, then, oh, you're whatever we say you are. So you have no actual freedom to learn who you are and what you actually believe in and what makes you happy, okay, when it comes to religion. Also, oh, well, she has her period, so she's mature now to have a baby. Is based on maturity. I even think they might let little boys get married. I'm not sure. Do you see this? And this is all in the name of religion, okay? All in the name of religion, they're operating like this, okay? So, all right, let me show you something, okay? Let's look at some things that go on in Somalia when it comes to being a child bride. Okay, this man is 76 years old. He married a 12-year-old. She didn't even get a chance to grow up and live. She was just 11 a year ago. At 12 years old, her parents have allowed her to marry a full-grown 76-year-old man who she will have to sleep with and do what he says and have a baby by at 12 years old. Okay? Then you have another child bride. Another child bride. That man, it's clear that's a child. Look at her. Look at her. And yet this is supposedly good. This is demonic. This is disgusting. This is abnormal. Look at him. Another one. Them girls don't even look happy. Look at the faces on them. Look at their faces. They don't want this. It's in the eyes. Look at their eyes. Look at her. This is a girl who has been trained to be obedient, to not have an opinion, and to being told that this is the way, this is what we believe. You can now marry. You got your period. Look at their eyes. Look at her. This girl is not happy. She doesn't want this old man. Even if he wasn't old, she's a child. She wants to live and enjoy her youth, not being made a wife to an old man. Here's another one. Look how old he is, and look at her. Her head ain't even lifted. She doesn't want this. Look at it. Old enough to be her great-granddaddy. And that's who she got to go home to, cook and clean, sleep with, and have a baby for. Goodness gracious. Look at this one. He was with her. You know, a lot of these men are rapists and pedophiles, and they know that they are. But they know they can do that and get away with it because it's my culture. It's my religion. It's okay. I think that was the little girl, yeah. It says outrage in Somalia after a man says he married a missing 8-year-old. She's 8 years old and she was missing. It was her. And he says he married her. Another one. Look at her face. Look at her eyes. Groom to be a servant, a smek slave, and to be great, basically, in the name of her culture/religion. I want you to see something else. Look, it says only in Somalia will you find an 11-year-old single mother. It's actually not just Somalia, but yeah, 11 years old, a baby forced to have a baby at 11 years old. They should be ashamed of their damn selves. But this has been going on for centuries. Another child bride in Somalia. Look at how little she is. Can you imagine her walking in the room to her full-grown, tall, old husband, making her get on the bed as a baby, hurting her, bleeding? Can you imagine walking in the room and seeing a full-grown old man on top of this little girl? Can you imagine seeing it? I don't think people want to imagine seeing it, because then you would have to confront the reality of how effing evil and disgusting this is. Now, this was not Somalia. This is in different parts of Africa. Look at her. She got married. Look at her face. I keep telling you, look at their face. They don't want these little girls to say, I don't want to get married. They don't have a choice. If it's a religion of peace to you in Somalia, why aren't you letting them be happy with actually getting married when they want to get married? Because you run and rule them as men. They don't have choices. So it's not peace and love and happiness. And this is also not Somalia. This is a different part of Africa. Happy engagement. Black Americans, like I said, we're very lucky to actually be born in America, because this is what happened to you. And all you Pan-Africans that talk about going to Africa, are y'all going to talk about this? Are y'all going to talk about the men you want to date and join in their cultures in Africa who would sell your little daughter off to a full-grown man? Y'all don't want to talk about that, do you? Look at it. I know he's happy. He's satisfied. But look at her face. Disgusting to me. So when I said underdeveloped, you would think that when you hear about the fistula problem, something would break in their minds to realize how abnormal and dangerous this is. A fistula, a medical condition where a hole develops in the birth canal because of childbirth from the child. It's a tear between the vagina and the rectum, or the bladder. You can become incontinent, meaning you cannot hold your urine or your feces. You're going to the bathroom on yourself uncontrollably. Complications include depression, I'm sure, infertility, and social isolation. So after they force you to get married and be great, basically, by your grown husband, because her little body is not developed for childbirth, then these tears happen from the childbirth, and then they isolate her and make her feel ashamed. Okay? So this could be, they said, prevented from a C-section. Do you really think Somalians have hospitals with doctors that can perform C-sections in these poor countries? Do you think this? Clearly undeveloped as to where they see this problem, but yet they continue to do this in the name of religion, but really in the name of men being able to have what they want, despite what it does to the little girls. Let's look a little bit more.
So the last time I spoke about child marriage on my page and follow to fight against child marriage, honor-based violence, FGM, stands for female genital mutilation. People know it as female circumcision, which this girl most 110% went through. 110%! And nobody can tell me otherwise. Nobody can sit here and say, Shamsa, how the fuck can you assume that the girl in front of you who you've just seen on social media is an FGM survivor? First of all, what country is this? Somalia, correct? She's an FGM survivor. Hade kafakato. Yeah? But if they are able to marry this child off to this man, I can guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you, we can bet on it. Yeah? She's an FGM survivor. And this man is now her husband. She is going to be bedded. Do you see the bed? Let me move. Look at the bed. Does that look like it's new? Okay, look at the side. And I'll tell you in a minute why that matters. Look at the side. Does that look... So you're giving up your daughter to a broke-ass fucking bum-ass nigga. On a biyo ugada biyo. On a bailey karen. He cannot provide by the looks of it. He turned up to his own wedding looking like this. Wallahi, this should have been my Halloween costume this year. Right here. This child had no business getting married. You devalued your daughters. You devalued your daughters to the point where you cut them, mutilated them, prepared them for men, got them married to men as old as this fucking guy. Okay? He looks like he's older than my father. Kitab Jama, he looks like he's older than my dad. All the same age. Oh. This child, who is a FGM survivor, if she did not have type 3 FGM, then she had type 2 FGM. Or most likely type 1 FGM. But if she lives in the rural area, then she is physically sewed together, which means when it is the wedding night, as seen here, when the camera shuts off and then they leave and this child is left to this man to devour, he's going to do one of, I would say in this circumstance, 3 things. How would he get her open if she is an FGM survivor, type 3? He would either have to stick where the little hole that is left for period flow. Yeah? He is going to either put his finger in there and rip her open, or take a blunt object, stick it in that tiny hole and rip it open. Or, like it happened to me, he will use his to rip through her, to go right through her.
Do you hear this? Can you imagine the pain? Every woman who has lost her virginity, you know how bad it hurts. Most of us, you know how bad it hurts. This girl has been sewn shut even tighter. Do you hear what she just said? What that man probably is going to do to her. Can you imagine the screams and the bleeding and the pain that little girl is going through on that wedding night? And this is culture. Baby, if I could say what I wanted to say right now, baby, y'all know me. Everybody who knows me, you already know, but I can't say certain things on here. This is disgusting.
And when it happened to me, I was 18 years old. And that internal trauma and the external trauma caused me to just not urinate. The pain that I felt that day, I would not wish on my worst enemy. When people ask me about it and say, but how? But how? But how? I'm like, bitch, I don't know. I don't know how, babe. I don't know how. It was what it was. I don't know. This is a child. I was new to adulthood, but this is a child. Even if she had type 1, even if she had type 1 or type 2, in Somali cases, they are sewn together. Even if it's type 1 or type 2. Because they don't have to have their labia minora or labia majora cut. You know, the bigger lips and the small lips. It's not always the case. Sometimes it's the clitoris, but they do sew you together. They sew their lips together. Okay, say she is not a FGM survivor. And in that case, I'm wrong, which I am never wrong when it comes to female genital mutilation. I can see it. I can see it. Okay, that's my sister. I can see it. Say in a case where she's not an FGM survivor. She is a child.
Okay, so I'm going to just leave it with this. Well, that's all for this video. I'm going to show you a little bit more. But baby, there are 3 types of the mutilation. Cutting off the lips, cutting out the clit, baby. You can't imagine that type of pain. And sewing them up or taking everything. You know why? It's not, they'll tell you it's because of, it's not in the religion. Mutilation of the vagina is not in Islam, it's cultural. And it came from the men. Men did this to take away women's pleasure. Because when they would leave off for wars and everything, some of the women would sleep with each other. And because they know where the women's pleasure is, so they cut it off. And them Africans have adopted this crap. Baby, this is just, I don't even have words for this, baby. Okay, let's look at a little bit more. She's crying. You might not be able to hear it, and her face is in complete pain.
You know, the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, is only for the Israelites. So-called black, so-called Latino, so-called Native Indians. And this is a prime example of why.
Okay, so this is not East Africa. This is West Africa. Ghana.
Ghana child bride under police protection after marriage to a priest. A 12-year-old girl has been placed under police protection in Ghana after it emerged she had been married to a 63-year-old traditional high priest. The Bible is the only place where you're going to find rules against, you know what I'm saying, abuse like this at church.
Actually, that's not true. In parts of the Bible, God commanded Israelites to go to someone's other town or pillage and all that other stuff. Basically take over someone's land, take the women and children for plunder. That is in the Bible. In fact, rape of women is condoned at least 4 to 5 times in the Bible. Just so you know, it actually is in the Bible. And it's disgusting. I'm just telling you.
Children. The Bible is the constitution of the Israelites. So-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Indians.
That is a damn lie. That whole chart is made up, okay? The whole chart is made up that they believe in, them Hebrew Israelites. A damn lie, and you can look it up. Plenty of people, even within the Hebrew Israelite groups, have said that chart is made up type of thing. Also, yes, in the Bible, rape of women and slavery is condoned all throughout it, just so you know.
Not these other nations. We are not Africans. You feel me?
Well, that's because of what happened, the slavery. If we never had slavery, then we would have been in Africa and we would have been practicing some of this trifling stuff. Now, I know some people are going to disagree. Oh, no, we're indigenous. Oh, no, we were Moors. Oh, no, we're Hebrew Israelites. Oh, no, we were this. At the end of the day, I mean, we're in America. And yes, we have some of us indigenous ancestry as well as African and European ancestry. Some people feel they don't. It is what it is. But we don't live in Africa. And we don't practice these practices that run rampant in Africa, thank God. So, okay. Now, when it comes to Somalia, let me share a little bit more with you because, baby, I'm showing some stuff, okay? Now, we know Iman is one of the most famous Somalians in the world. Famous supermodel, married David Bowie, and she seems like a nice lady. She's shown a lot of respect to Black people of all different ethnicities, and she identifies as a Black Somalian woman, okay? But, baby, I'm about to show you something because while I do have sympathy for those little girls born into a disgusting culture like that, who do practice the child marriage, disgusting. And there are Somalians who don't agree from videos that I've seen who usually did not grow up over there. Baby, people thought a change was coming with the ban on child marriage. I thought it was great to see. But again, now within less than 24 hours, they've said, oh no, we're going back to it. And that's just a damn shame. So let me share something that you might not have known about a lot of Somalians. I used to see this online on different videos on TikTok where some Somalians who are East African have a beef with West Africans from Africa. And they'll call them a Jareer as an insult or a Bantu. So I said, well, what is a Jareer? Basically, I mean, they would say your hair is Jareer to the West Africans, depending on the country. So Jareer means it's an insult towards the hair texture. It's a racialized term used by members of the dominant Somali ethnic groups in reference to ethnic minority populations like the Somali Bantus, I guess the Somalians who have coarser hair or something. So Jareer, which actually was an Arab word that means brave, now is considered an insult in Somalia. It literally means hard hair. It's a term that precedes the creation of the name Somali Bantu between 2000 and something, 2016. Basically, it's an insult. So when they call you a Jareer, they're talking about your hair texture or having very strong negroid wide features. They don't like that. I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm not saying they all like that, but it is very common to see them say this towards West Africans, okay? So, and I'm pretty sure they feel that way about anyone Black who has very coarse hair, but I know that is something between the West Africans and the East Africans, but that's the word they made for hard hair. I actually saw this on TikTok. Someone who's Somalian says, Jareer, we have the best hair. They're saying that this is what they say. The West Africans who say they have good hair. This is type 4 hair. Okay. 4C, 4B. Okay. So the Somalian person posted this saying, don't copy our flow and leave us alone and go. Posting photos of the Somalians and their hair texture. This Somalian is basically saying, please, you're copying us and we're better than you. This is what, and I'm not saying this Somalian represents all of them, but this is on TikTok. Okay, the whole Jareer thing from their culture. This is another post a Somalia made. That's him. He says, Somalians, when a Jareer, ask us, what is a Jareer? So the Black people who are not Somalian, who are West African, asking them, what is a Jareer? Because you keep calling us a Jareer. Okay, so let's see the picture that he posted in response. Okay, so what is a Jareer, he said, as the Somalian? He said, this is a Jareer. So he used this photo, basically an African, West African with a wide nose and big lips. Okay, so he's talking about his features. This is bad to him as a Somalian. As a matter of fact, someone posted this video, a Somalian. It says a Somali meets a Jareer. On the right is a Jareer. As you can see, it's very coarse 4C, 4D type of hair. And on the left are the children in West Africa mesmerized by a East African Somalian's hair. They have straighter, wavier hair than them on the West. So he's showing how they act when they see their hair. So, and he's insulting their hair on the right, like, you have very nappy hair. We have very beautiful, wavy, looser hair than you, and you're absolutely mesmerized by our hair. And who says that's a lie, though? I mean, look at the damn video. They're all in that child's hair, and they're mesmerized by his hair. So it's not actually a lie that this happens, but he's boasting about it like, look at your hair on the right and look at our hair. You want to be us. That's what he's saying. Okay. So as far as the FGM, well, the female mutilation in Somalia, it says that at least 200 million girls and women alive in Somalia have had this done to them. Partial or total removal of their vagina, their outside vagina, for non-medical reasons. This is widespread. 99% of the women have been cut. My God, if I could say what I want to say on this damn video, believe me. Okay, it says that the women actually participated in a study. Majority of the women justified it, the Somalian women, for religious reasons, and they want to circumcise their daughters. 52% of the residents have been operated on medically by untrained professionals. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Okay, so it's a part of... Okay, I just read that. It's the same thing. Same thing. You know what's crazy is that they will say... I'll save it. I'll just wait for a little bit. Okay, so a little bit more about Somalian. It's next to Ethiopia and next to Kenya, okay? And the Indian Ocean. It has, all right, the population is about 18 million. All right. And, okay, let's see. The official language is Somali and Arabic. But Somali is the main language. It has very strong ties to the Arab world. The overwhelming majority are Sunni Muslims. Okay, just so you know some things. Okay, let's skip through a little bit. Somalia is one of the least developed countries in the world. You don't say with this type of mentality. Let's see. It's above only South Sudan. Let's see. It's a member of the United Nations and the Arab League, the African Union, the East African Community. Okay, so their food is a mixture of Arab, Indian, and Italian flavors, as well as theirs, of course. And pasta is a staple, lamb, beef, and chicken. Okay, so flatbreads and stuff. Okay, so... Let's see one more thing. So that is it for this video. You know, I used to hear them say that they do FGM, vagina mutilation, because, oh, it keeps them clean. Baby, your vagina is not going to be clean if you don't wash it. Not because your vagina has been kept intact. You don't have a dirty vagina because you actually have your coochie lips. You have a dirty vagina because you don't wash your ass every day. That's why your vagina stinks and you have infections. Okay, or your man has a dirty dingling and has been giving you trichomosis and throwing off your pH. Okay? Baby, we had hope. The world had hope yesterday hearing that they decided to stop men from raping their wives, their children, the children they marry. We thought the world was actually changing and that the evil was ending, only for them to turn around probably after seeing this man's video and saying, oh no, we have to fear Allah. We have to let you marry her if she's 8 or 9 and she got a period and have this doggone child And no matter how much she doesn't want it, she has to, because we've been commanded to marry off a child. No, it's not. It's not in Islam that you have to marry children. It's not a part of the rule or the law that you have to marry a child. No, you have men who want to have these doggone kids, and because the religion doesn't ban it, they're like, well, I can do it. And because the women don't have a voice and they can't say anything because they don't want to be taken off the earth or beat up, they have to go along with it, and because of family pressures and because of what happened to their mothers. This is absolutely sickening. This is just disgusting. This is disgusting and barbaric. It's not civilized behavior. It's not human. It's hurtful. The fact of what that woman said happens on the wedding night. Baby, we're not even going through that, and we remember what the first time was like. Can you imagine for a little girl? Jesus Christ, someone help them. Somebody help them, because they need help, and they are probably beyond repair. I feel sorry for Somalian women. Okay? And you know what else? Let me show something. Let me show something real quick. You know what? And you know what's sad is that so many people only talk about the beauty they see with some of these East African women. But people don't want to talk about behind that beautiful face that you see is a woman whose vagina has been cut up and taken from her, sewn up on her wedding night, tormented, given away as a child. Now, don't get me wrong. This woman up here, I think she's American, but just because they're American doesn't mean they're not secretly doing this in their homes and stuff. We don't know. You know how many of them? Now, this woman up here is not Somalian, but I just had to get a picture real quick. She is East African, and FGM is very common in East Africa. So no one cares when these men promote, let's go to East Africa. You don't ever hear these men talking about, well, geez, does she have her vagina intact? Has she been mutilated? They don't care. Nobody cares. You want to talk about beauty, okay. But you don't want to talk about the horror of what they go through, and that they're quiet about and silent about because they have to. And it's just a damn shame. It's a damn shame. And people wonder why some people are just dying to get to America so they can get the hell away from some of this craziness. But then again, some families still come here and they do this stuff on the sneakiness in America, getting away with doing these type of things to their daughters and stuff like that. And I'm going to say something else that y'all don't want me to say. Some of y'all be asking, well, why African women marrying white men? Why the F do you think? To get the hell away from you. Get the hell away from you and your culture. Now, Somalian women aren't all known to marry white men. Some of them do, though, in London and stuff. You know, I'll see black men asking questions. Why the African women marrying white men? Perhaps they want to be with another culture where their vaginas won't be mutilated and their daughters. Did you ever think about that? White men don't practice this crap. Maybe that's the reason, too, that some of you don't want to address as to why y'all be talking about African women marrying white men. Perhaps they trying to escape the hell away from having to continue in the cultural practices they were born into. To get a new man, because the man you marry leads you and you take on his culture a lot. But no one wants to talk about that. I'm just saying. So that's it for this video. Let me know what you think, baby. I know the comments are probably going to be off the chain. We thought they ended child marriage yesterday. Within a damn day, they decided to go back to letting men marry babies. I don't care if she got a period. A 9, 10, 11, 12, 14-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old is not mentally mature. They're not women just because her body started bleeding. And why would you want to get on top of a effing little girl anyway, you sicko? This world ain't where it's supposed to be, baby. And it's been hundreds and hundreds of years, and we're still not there at all. And as quiet as it's kept, even here in America, a lot of men wish they could get away with it and do it under the law if they could. The common denominator globally is men and brainwashed women who do not have a voice even if they wanted to. So that is it for this video. If you would like some good wine, again, you might need a drink after this video, go to www.boydcrewwines.com. White wine, red wine, rosé, and more. www.boydcrews.com. So that is it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Get those likes up. And I will be reading your comments and talking to you soon about some other things. You all take care. Bye, everybody. Also, I don't feel this way about the entire Somali community, or Somali Americans and Somalians who actually disagree with the practices over there. Maybe they can use their voice to talk to their people over in Somalia to get them to change this. I don't know. But I had to share this with you. This is what's going on in the world. So you all take care. Bye, everyone.